May we kindly request our honored guests to please take their designated seats in anticipation of the arrival of the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Our protocol officers are on standby to assist you. Thank you.
you?
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, may we request our honored guests to please take their designated seat. The Honorable Secretary Teodoro L. Locsin Jr., Undersecretary J. Eduardo Malaya, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to the conferment of the 2020 Presidential Awards. My name is Nonito Cabrera Jr., Principal Assistant, Office of ASEAN Affairs. To formally begin our ceremony, may I invite to the podium Undersecretary for Administration J. Eduardo Malaya for his opening remarks and to introduce the Secretary of Foreign Affairs.
The Honorable Teodoro L. Locsin Jr., Undersecretary Sara Ariola, Assistant Secretary Tony Morales of HRMO, Assistant Secretary Maynard Monte Alegre, Assistant Secretary June Mayo, and other senior officials who are present, colleagues in the Home Office, the consular offices nationwide, and the Foreign Service. Distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. It is with great pleasure that I welcome all of you to our conferment ceremony. Certainly, we would have liked to have as many people as possible here, physically present, but perhaps in better circumstances. Just the same, this morning's ceremony is a momentous one, as the Secretary of Foreign Affairs will bestow, on behalf of the President, the state's highest honors to 5 men and women. Deep significance, as it is a time to ponder on the meaning of excellence, service, and selflessness, and honor people who exemplify them. Our awardees this morning are worthy of the highest recognition as they have gone over and above the call of duty. And for two of them to have put country first before their personal safety, more so at the epicenter of a pandemic. In the words of Apolinario Mabini, who is a silent witness to our proceedings, and in reference to Jose Rizal, and I quote, he said, "In truth, the merit of Rizal's sacrifice consists precisely in that it was voluntary and conscious," unquote. Indeed, voluntary and conscious was the decision of our esteemed awardees. Friends and colleagues, diplomacy has always been a human endeavor. Though technology and social media may have facilitated action, it is still an individual who negotiates with foreign counterparts, who open doors for Filipino businesses, who spreads the good word about our country, and who lends a sympathetic ear and a helping hand to compatriots in distress. It is therefore fitting that we give recognition to our officers and personnel who have served best. Their actions will echo across time and place, and we will always be grateful. These honors reflect the true meaning of the paradox that we can only become truly great when we make ourselves the servant of others. A warm welcome, therefore, to everyone to our conferment ceremony. And at this juncture, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce a public servant par excellence, our country's top diplomat, and an exemplar whose words and deeds have prodded us always to live up to our highest standards, the Honorable Teodoro L. Locsin, Jr. Thank you.
Honored guests, colleagues in the department, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We gather today to celebrate the recognition of our colleagues by the highest official of the Republic through the conferment of the Gawad Mabini and Order of Sikatuna. While it is true that only a select few are given this recognition every year, we must remember that presidential honors do not derive their prestige from exclusivity, that the conferees are an exclusive set. Nor is their value derived from scarcity. We must not view the Gawad Mabini and the Order of Sikatuna through the commonplace lens of supply and demand, suggesting that their worth is market-driven. These presidential conferments are not commodities, whose prices decline when they lose flavor with the market for them. No one wants these awards at the prices in which they come. Total dedication, not in spurts, but consistently of the highest quality over a near lifetime. A lifetime not of public done away from public view, and all the harder to bear for the essential solitude of the endeavor. These are the long-distance runners. In short, these awards are symbols of what those who received them were willing to pay for them out of their very real, tireless work. They express the highest honor and the deepest gratitude the Republic can give to civil servants in the Foreign Service. The President, bearing the mandate of the Filipino people, confers these honors on our colleagues on behalf of a nation grateful for the sacrifices of these exemplary civil servants, grateful that among us are those against whose shoulders ours may rub in the hallway, who yet are heroes as much as soldiers on the gloried battlefield, nurses in the wounded wards, scientists burning the midnight oil, searching the cure that will save many otherwise lost. But among them too are civil servants risking their lives to snatch the public out of the line of fire. At this juncture, I want to briefly mention the achievements of the honored this day. Our recipients of the Gawad Mabini rank of Kasugo exemplified what it truly means to protect Filipino nationals abroad. Mr. Sani Darren B. Bejarin and Mark Anthony C. Gegera, currently assigned to our Consulate General in Shanghai, were at the forefront of our COVID-19 response at a time when our knowledge of the virus was nil. In spite of the risks, they went to Wuhan, then the epicenter of the virus, to safely evacuate our countrymen. Back in the Home Office, we continue to support our nationals. Mr. Arnaldo C. Mahor of UMWA, our third recipient of the Gawad Mabini rank of Kasugo, made sure that our nationals in need got the support they needed. Through his work, the DFA was able to disburse more than 159 million pesos to 58,680 cases involving repatriation, medical and welfare help, and other activities to support our OFWs in Saudi Arabia. As one moves up the foreign service, the demands on personnel shift from tactical to strategic. One needs to start thinking not only of the immediate and direct results of anything he or she does, but mindful also of the broader long-term impact of the work. Our recipient of the Gawad Mabini rank of the Kilang Kasugo for this year, UMWA Executive Director, Eric C. Arribas, has a career marked by consistent application of the one-country team approach, imparting vivid relevance through action to that formulation. Such efforts serve not only to advance our foreign policy efficiently, they send a simple but important message to overseas Filipinos. Your government is here, working for you there. Executive Director Arribas' single-mindedness in ensuring that this is articulated not merely with reiterations of that phrase, but by a plenitude of actions, carefully planned, assiduously executed, so our people do not lose faith in the country and continue to trust the Foreign Service as a ready, tried and tested friend in their worst trials and not a wall of inaccessible assignments abroad. Ambassador Jose Santiago L. Santaromana, this year's recipient of the Gawad Mabini, rank of Dakilang Kamano, is an invaluable asset to the Philippine Foreign Service. His deep expertise and knowledge of China has been a key element in the successful conduct of our bilateral relations with that country. Through his efforts, the heads of states of both countries conducted visits that resulted in agreements that secured Philippines' interests and enhanced its relationship with China over the long term, despite differences and disagreements and changing geopolitics. His success in no small part is due to the life he chose to live in China through the worst of times. And when better times came and he might have come home, he chose to stay and go on learning, so as to go on serving his country better and better. Finally, the recipient of this year's Order of Sikatuna rank of Dato, our dear friend and colleague, Ambassador Bernardita L. Catalia, whose presence we still miss to this day in the Foreign Service. I saw her in my office before she left. We had a chat. She was brimming with enthusiasm for her work. She knew the dangers of her assignment. I did not know she was going to her death. There are two measures to know how well one has lived: the number of smiles due to your presence, and the volume of tears on your passing. Bernie nailed the first. Anyone who knew Bernie would attest to the fact that her positive demeanor radiated to everyone around her. Her work was hard, but she never showed it. She made it seem what it could not have been, easy and effortless. And now, as we honor her, she gives us one more gift: the enviable example of exerting oneself to the utmost without showing it, of concealing sacrifice, thereby making it perfect. The Italian expression for it is sprezzatura, and it is the mark of the best women and men in or out of the Foreign Service. It is a tragedy that we now know how well she fared on the second. Bernie's reputation as a diplomat who genuinely cared for Filipinos abroad is inimitable. Upon news of her passing, tributes came from communities she had served in tough and demanding posts like Hong Kong and Beirut, among others. Foreign diplomats at first meeting poured out praises of her as truly one of the select core of diplomats whose life and work are marked as much by real helpfulness as learning. In her last assignment in Beirut, she was on top of everything to do with repatriating Filipinos to safety in the pandemic. Tragically, the virus exacted the final price for ensuring the well-being of countless Filipinos that Ambassador Bernie had secured. Sincerest condolences to her family. Selfless service. Before I end this message, I asked everyone to join me in a moment of silent prayer for our beloved Ambassador, Bernie. Dear friends and colleagues, I invite you once again to congratulate our recipients of this year's presidential awards. We are proud to serve alongside you, and we are inspired to match your example in our work every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Teodoro L. Locsin Jr., for your rousing and inspirational message. At this point, may we request the Assistant Secretary of the Office of Protocol, Porfirio M. Mayo Jr., to read the citations for each of the awardees.
Secretary of Foreign Affairs Teodoro L. Locsin Jr., the Undersecretaries, Assistant Secretaries, fellow workers in the Department of Foreign Affairs, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the Secretary of on behalf of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the following presidential honors to our most exemplary personnel in the department in recognition of their outstanding service to the Republic. The Gawad Mabini is conferred on Filipinos who have rendered distinguished foreign service or helped promote the interests and prestige of the Philippines abroad. It was established by virtue of Presidential Decree Number 490, Series of 1974, in honor of Apolinario Mabini, the first Secretary of Foreign Affairs of the First Republic of the Philippines. There are three ranks in the Gawad Mabini. First, the Dakilang Kamanong, or the Grand Cross for former or incumbent Secretaries of Foreign Affairs and DFA officers with the rank of Chief of Mission. Second, the Dakilang Kasugo, or Commander for DFA officers with the ranks from the Foreign Service Officer Class 4 to Career Minister, or upon personnel in another government agency who serve as an attaché. And third, the rank of Kasugo or member for all other DFA personnel.
May we request the Honorable Secretary Teodoro L. Locsin Jr. for the conferment of the Presidential Awards.
The first recipient of the Gawad Mabini with the rank of Kasugo is Mr. Mark Anthony Guerra for the repatriation efforts in Wuhan, Hubei province in China, when the DFA decided to evacuate Filipinos from the epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak in China on 31st January 2020.
To receive the award on behalf of Mr. Guerra is Director Rovel Dixon of the Office of Asset Management and Support Services.
I shall read the citation for Mr. Guerra. Malacanang Palace, be it known to all men by these presents that I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, have caused to be inscribed in the roster of Gawad Mabini in the name of Mark Anthony Guerra, Communications and Records Officer, Philippine Consulate General in Shanghai, China, with the rank of Kasugo, done in the city of Manila, this 20th day of August in the year of our Lord, 2020, signed Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines. The next recipient of the Gawad Mabini with the rank of Kasugo is Mr. Sani Darren Beharin for the repatriation efforts in Wuhan, Hubei province in China, when the DFA decided to evacuate Filipinos from the epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak in China on 31 January 2020.
May I invite Mr. Beharin to receive his award.
The citation reads, Malacanang Palace, be it known to all men by these presents that I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, have caused to be inscribed in the roster of Gawad Mabini the name of Sani Darren Beharin, Consular Assistant and Attaché, Philippine Consulate General in Shanghai, China, with the rank of Kasugo, done in the city of Manila this 20th day of August, in the year of our Lord 2020. Signed, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines. Thank you, Mr. Beharin. Our last recipient of the Gawad Mabini with the rank of Kasugo is Mr. Arnaldo Mahor for his effective, precise, and efficient assistance, allowing the department to disburse more than 159 million pesos to 58,680 cases involving repatriation, medical, and welfare assistance, and other activities to support our OFWs in Saudi Arabia.
To receive the award on behalf of Mr. Mahor is the Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, Ms. Saralu Y. Ariola.
The citation reads, Malacanang Palace, be it known to all men by these presents, that I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, have caused to be inscribed in the roster of Gawad Mabini the name of Arnaldo Mahor, Assistant to Nationals Officer, Office of the Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, with the rank of Kasugo, done in the city of Manila this 20th day of August, in the year of our Lord 2020. Signed, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines. Kagawad Mabini Dakilang Kasugo, or Commander, is conferred upon an officer with the rank between Career Minister to Foreign Service Officer Class 4, or upon personnel of a government agency who serves as an attaché in a foreign service establishment, as recommended by the Chief of Mission or the principal officer of the post served, as the case may be, or by the Secretary of Foreign Affairs in the case of personnel in the Home Office. Our loan recipient for this year's Gawad Mabini rank of Dakilang Kasugo is Mr. Eric C. Arribas. For being at the forefront of operationalizing the whole of government approach to providing public service to OFWs in most of his assignments, both in the Philippines and abroad.
I am pleased to invite Mr. Arribas to receive his award.
The citation reads, Malacanang Palace, be it known to all men by these presents, that I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, have caused to be inscribed in the roster of Gawad Mabini in the name of Eric C. Arribas, Executive Director, Office of the Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, with the rank of Dakilang Kasugo, done in the city of Manila this 20th day of August, in the year of our Lord 2020, signed, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines. Thank you and congratulations, Mr. Arribas. The Dakilang Kamanong or Grand Cross is conferred upon a former or incumbent Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Chief of Mission, Cabinet Member, or other high official who heads a Philippine delegation to an important international conference on a ministerial level and, as a result thereof, has made substantive contributions to public interest and public welfare. Our loan recipient for this year's Gawad Mabini rank of Dakilang Kamanong is Ambassador Jose Santiago L. Santa Romana for effectively and continuously playing an integral role in the improvement of the bilateral relations between the Philippines and the People's Republic of China.
To receive the award on behalf of Ambassador Santa Romana is Assistant Secretary Maynardo L.B. Montealegre of the Office of the Asian and Pacific Affairs.
The citation reads, Malacanang Palace, be it known to all men by these presents, that I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, have caused to be inscribed in the roster of Gawad Mabini in the name of Jose Santiago Santa Romana, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Philippine Embassy in Beijing, China, with the rank of Dakilang Kamanong, done in the city of Manila this 20th day of August in the year of our Lord 2020, signed Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines. colleagues in the department, the women and men of the Department of Foreign Affairs stand proud in honoring a fallen hero with one of the highest awards of the Republic. The Order of Sikatuna is an order of diplomatic merit conferred upon individuals who have rendered exceptional and meritorious services to the Republic of the Philippines. Upon diplomats, officials, and nationals of foreign states who have rendered conspicuous service in fostering, developing, and strengthening relations between their country and the Philippines, or upon personnel of the Department of Foreign Affairs, both in the Home Office and in the Foreign Service. Together with the Philippine Legion of Honor and the Order of Lacandula, the Order of Sikatuna is one of the 3 senior honors of the Republic. On behalf of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, it is with honor and privilege that the Order of Sikatuna, rank of Datu, gold distinction, is bestowed upon Ambassador Bernardita L. Catalia, former Philippine ambassador to Beirut. A career diplomat for 27 years, service to the country has been the hallmark of Ambassador Catalia's distinguished foreign service career. Bernie, as she is fondly called, has always lent a helping hand to her family, friends, and colleagues. Her sincere care for others, exuberant nature, passion for government service, and love of country will always serve as a reminder to all of us in the Philippine Foreign Service of what it takes to be a perfect public servant. Ambassador Bernie passed away on April 2nd, 2020 in the Sacré-Cœur Hospital in Beirut due to complications arising from COVID-19.
To receive the Order of Sikatuna on behalf of Ambassador Catalia is her brother, Mr. Luisito Catalia, and his spouse, Mrs. Edna Catalia.
The nation honors her with the following citation. Malacanang Palace, be it known to all men by this presence that I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, have caused to be inscribed in the roster of the Order of Sikatuna in the name of Bernardita L. Catalia, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Philippine Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon, with the rank of Datu Gold Distinction, done in the city of Manila this 20th day of August in the year of our Lord 2020, signed Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines. I join everyone in the department in congratulating all of our awardees today. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you, Secretary Locsin and Assistant Secretary Mayo. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be, let us give our awardees a big round of applause. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's conferment ceremonies. Thank you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your day.